Now joining me live in our studio is Ahmad Shahidov. He's a political analyst. Good to have you, Ahmad.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, my first question is, what implications do the discussions between Turkish and Russian foreign ministers have for the broader bilateral relations between Turkey and Russia, especially in the context of regional and global dynamics?
Yes, this is a very important and critical meeting because Russian and Turkish foreign ministers met in Moscow, and this is the preparation for next meeting of Recep Erdoğan and Vladimir Putin in Sochi on September 4. And the main subject of this discussion is the grain deal between Ukraine and Russia, because Turkey is an important country and has a very important role in mediation process in this deal. And I think it has this grain deal is very important for both Ukraine and Russia and for poor countries, and Turkey is a very important country for transporting this grain from its territory. Also, bilateral relations between Turkey and Russia is on the agenda as well, because Turkey and Russia has very strategic relations, and of course it has this is not the humanitarian aspects. This grain deal also has political and diplomatic aspects, and I think that the war in Ukraine also will be discussed during the Erdogan's and Putin's meeting, and all international eyes, all international media are focused on this meeting in Sochi on September 4, because Turkey's increasing international influence and Erdogan's influence in international arena has made Turkey a very important country, and both sides, Ukraine and Russia, also accept Turkey's role. And also Ankara has a very strong experience in this mediation. We also observed Ankara's role in organizing meeting in Istanbul of Ukrainian and Russian representatives, and also organizing this grain deal, grain agreement. And I think all international community also hope to Turkey's role and to mobilize again to Turkey's opportunities to restore this grain deal.
Now, could you also provide details about the Black Sea Grain Initiative and the reasons behind Russia's decision to quit the deal in July?
You know, last year in September, thanks to Turkey and United Nations efforts, it was launched a grain deal between Ukraine and Russia, and more than 1,000 tons grains transported via the Turkey to Africa, to another poor countries. But about 2 or 3 times it was restored, this grain agreement. And finally, on July of this year, Russia stopped and withdrew its role from this grain deal. And Russian officials said that because of UN didn't keep its word on this agreement, that's why Russia take back this grain deal. But now I think, thanks to Turkey's mediation, we hope that the grain deal will be restored again. But of course there are some demands from Russian side. I think Erdogan and Putin's meeting in Sochi will be very positive, and if to take into account that on September 9 it will be G20 summit, if any positive result will be achieved from Sochi meetings, I think Turkey's increasing role in international arena will be happened again.
How has Turkey been working to facilitate the resumption of the Black Sea grain deal, and what challenges have they encountered in this process?
First of all, Turkey is main country in this process, taking into account that from February last year, both sides, Ukraine and Russia, involved in deep military operations, and about 2 years this war is continued, and the both sides has apply for support. Today, the NATO, Western countries support Ukraine, and Russia also receives some support from its partners, from Iran, from China, from other countries. So no Kiev, no Moscow intends to stop these military operations. And from international law, of course, the territorial integrity of Ukraine has been violated, and the cities and villages of Ukraine are under rocket fire, and Ukraine army defends its territory. On the other hand, Russia intends to continue its military operations, and somehow these some Russian cities are under drone attacks as well. So only country in the world is Turkey that intends to, how to say, at least suspend these military operations and to achieve any ceasefire in the region. So I think Turkey is one of the leading countries in Black Sea as a member of NATO, also has very good relations between Ukraine and Russia, has very important opportunities if the international community will support Turkey's initiatives in this deal. I think we can at least achieve any ceasefire and suspend these military operations and war in Ukraine.
Now, with the upcoming meeting between Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Sochi, what are the expectations and goals for the meeting, especially the relations to the Black Sea Grain Initiative?
As I said before, the main focus is the grain deal, I think, and I believe that Recep Tayyip Erdogan will achieve Putin's accepting this, restoring the grain deal. It's very important. Another topics will be the mutual relations between Turkey and Russia. Of course, there are other topics that will be discussed between the two leaders. Turkey has a very important role on achieving peace in the other fire points in the world. For example, in Africa, in the other countries, we observe Turkey's role in South Caucasus during the 2020 the Second Karabakh War. And so I think that the Karabakh issue and the relation between Armenia and Azerbaijan, my country, will also be on the agenda during the meeting of Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Vladimir Putin. But the main focus is on the grain deal and the suspension of the military operations in Ukraine and how to say to join, to invite the sides to peace negotiations.
Can you also elaborate on the specific effects administratives Turkey has undertaken to bring an end to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine?
You know, Turkey as the one of the main countries of NATO, as the Muslim country and growing country, has very important increasing role in world politics. We observed it during the summits of NATO, during the summits of G20, how the Recep Tayyip Erdogan talks to world leaders, European leaders, especially Western leaders. Also has a very good relation with Russian leader, with Iranian, China's leaders. So it shows that Ankara's growing influence. Also it shows the Erdogan's influence in world politics. And Turkey very active in resolving these conflicts and achieving peace in these conflict zones, especially in Ukraine, in Karabakh, in Palestine. So I think that Turkey has very large opportunities, and world community, international community has support in Turkey to mobilize its opportunities to achieve peace not only in Ukraine, in South Caucasus, in the other countries where the conflicts are going.
Now, given the length of the conflict in Ukraine, what are the prospects and challenges of achieving a peaceful resolution through negotiations, and what role does Turkey see itself playing in this process?
You know, for today, it's very less chance to achieve the peace between Ukraine and Russia, because very active military operations are underway, and today some military attacks observed inside the territory of Russian Federation. So both sides are strongly intent to continue these military operations. From one side, Ukraine defends its territory, intend to take back its territories, and Russia also intend to continue these military operations. But anyway, at least there is somehow chance to suspend these clashes, these military operations, and I'll say to achieve the ceasefire, maybe to freeze this conflict for a couple of years. Maybe after 5-10 years, the Ukraine and Russia will easily find solution for this conflict. But for today, I think no Kiev, no Moscow has intention to continue this dialogue on as peace negotiations. But anyway, I think that instead of supporting each side, the international community has to find a solution to, first of all, at least to stop these clashes, these military operations, to stop the killing the people from both sides, then to suspend this conflict and somehow to achieve peace in the region. And I think Turkey is the only country that has opportunities and has chance to invite both sides to dialogue for peace.
Now lastly, what are the latest updates from the state border between Armenia and Azerbaijan?
Yeah, this is also a very actual problem, and today Armenian military groups violated the ceasefire and attacked on state border between Armenia and Azerbaijan, attacked to Azerbaijani military points, and 3 Azerbaijani soldiers wounded today, and Azerbaijan launched offensive operations and killed 3 Armenian soldiers. So it's a very actual problem around the Lachin corridor as well. Last month, the situation around the Lachin corridor is also very actual. So I think that unfortunately the peace negotiation between Armenia and Azerbaijan also falling down because of these provocations from the Armenian side. So I think both Turkey and Russia should discuss these issues during the Sochi meeting of Erdogan and Putin, because only Turkey and Russia can resolve this issue, because Armenian authorities have some support from Armenian lobby, from France, from European countries, and they try to violate these peace negotiations achieved in Moscow, in Sochi, in Brussels, in Washington, between Pashinyan and Aliyev. So there is no chance for today to sign this peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan, because these kind of provocations in Karabakh, on the state border between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Ahmad Shahidov, thank you for joining us and for your analysis.